Many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Firecrackers, and we're about to begin discussions on PDP's convention. We also have joining us in the studio Bola Bolawole, a public affairs analyst and veteran journalist. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us today, sir.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. So I would like to start with Dr. Pierce, who was at the convention yesterday and this morning. From your point of view, how did the convention go?
The convention went very well. We judge what happened was whether or not it was successful was that the delegates were there in full force from every state of the federation. We had a turnout of an average of 70% of the delegates nationally. Everything went smoothly because by now people who are still in the party are those who are fully committed. And the delegate, this was a delegate election. It's not a general election. It's not even an election for the party members per se. It was the delegates that were going to vote for the new officers of the National Working Committee of the party. And the delegates naturally were there. Those who were not there were those who were not delegates, who were contentious delegates by the assessment of the party. They claim to be delegates, but they're not really delegates, so they were the ones that were not there. In other words, PDP delegates were fully in place yesterday to vote for the incoming National Working Committee members of the party that will usher in the party toward the 2027 elections.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that. And Mr. Bola Bolawole, how do you feel about the convention? It's holding, despite the fact that there was Abuja court ruling saying that they should not hold the convention 2 times, but then the PDP still went ahead to hold the convention yesterday and today. What's your reaction to that?
That is one of the problems we have in Nigeria today. In times past, once the court speaks, it is final, it is taken as the gospel truth. Everybody obeys the court, everybody respects the court, everybody waits for the court to make a pronouncement. And once the court makes a pronouncement, everybody obeys, but no more so these days. And the reason is not because our people have become disobedient or that our people no longer respect law and order. It's because our hearts have so put themselves in a position that it is difficult for people to give the same respect and the same standing that they used to have. For example, courts of competence, courts of the same jurisdiction will give conflicting rulings. One in Abuja will say, don't do this. Another one in Ibadan will say, do this. In fact, it gets even as worse as even in the same state. You can have 2 high courts saying different things. The state high court can say this, the federal high court can say another. Then the question then is, who do you believe? Which of the court rulings do you accept and do you run with? Now, the people who said the convention that was just held was illegally held, they will refer to one court judgment. People said, oh, we have legally held our convention, we will refer to another judgment. Now it creates confusion all over the place. Now you will not have a situation where some people will be saying that that this thing was any committee, working committee that is based on this convention is legal. Some people say it's not legal. You have a situation where litigation continues. Some people will go to court to say declare this illegal. Some people will say it is legal. So where do we go from here? I think the court should sit down, the judiciary should sit down and talk about themselves. This kind of thing is so good for their image. There was a time when judges were treated as gods. Judge makes a pronouncement, so they don't need. But it's not so. It's not because the politicians are disobedience of order. It is because the courts have put just in a position where they have become controversial, where they have become duplicitous, where they have become part of the problem instead of the solution. Meanwhile, the court is supposed to be the solution. Two people disagree, you go to court. The court resolves it and everybody is okay. But now the court resolves nothing. Even after you go to, even when you get as far as the Supreme Court, the problem now is that the court will be ambiguous in the judgments they give. So people will start interpreting the same judgment in different ways. So why can't you say clearly we rule like this, we give this, we don't give it. They will couch the judgment in such a way that you can get what you want from the judgment. I can get what I want from the judgment. The situation continues. So I think we really have to talk to ourselves that this kind of thing is not good. But having said that, I think it is right and proper for a political party to be able to hold convention now. A political party should be able to organize itself. A political party should be able to run. So I met some people who one of them told me that Isabella said your man doesn't want us to hold convention. I said, who is your man? He said, you know now. They don't want us to hold convention. I said, no, you put your house in order. It's why a situation where it may be true that some people you don't want the PDP to hold this convention. It's also likely that you can also see that the PDP has found it difficult to put this house in order. And it's also possible that even when you say the PDP has not been able to put this house in order, you can also see also there are people who do not want the PDP to put this house in order, who will do everything to ensure that the problem in the PDP continues. But where do we go from here?
Definitely. Okay, right, Dr. Pierce, talking about putting house in order, if we look at the reactions from the members that were expelled during the convention, they seem unfazed. We have our spokesperson for the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. He made comments that everyone is celebrating. Everyone is preparing to celebrate that to December, and this is November, and then they should just hold their hands and see how things unfold. So if we are having issues with convention, some are still of the opinion that even INEC was ordered not to come to this convention that just held. They are of the opinion that, well, they would just go to court again, and then anything that would be arising from this convention, it's a jamboree, if I'm to use the word that some people use for this convention. So how is the PDP going to approach this matter on the table now?
What Bola said is puts everything in context. Nigeria is going through very tumultuous times. It is a test of how much we are determined as a people to hold on to the tenets of democracy, so that there be fairness, because democracy is the principle of equal opportunity for all. So everybody can participate in things that will determine their destiny. This is what we're going through. What PDP is going through is not just about PDP, it's about Nigeria and the whole survival of democracy in Nigeria. It is so that, as you said, parties should be allowed to hold the convention. Those who are celebrating that, hoping that what we have done is not legitimate, is not. I saw what Wike's spokesperson said. He said we have been drinking. I guess he remembered that his boss is the drunkard. If anybody is drinking, it is Wike who says he has whiskey for breakfast at 11 a.m. So the drunkard issue is with them. They are the ones that are drunk, saying rubbish now. We had a convention, INEC was there. We had given INEC notice a long time ago that we're going to have a convention. We had a convention. We constituted more than 2/3 of our delegates were there. And you see, Justice Salako started this. As he said, one judge gives one judgment. It doesn't matter. We feel that Salako has a bad reputation already as an APC judge. Anything that happens to be related to Wike goes to him for some reason. Then he decides in Wike's favor. We took it, no problem. But we have the right to also seek an alternative opinion. So the judge in Akintola in Ibadan gave us that second opinion. And that was the last one. After that, that was the latest judgment. We took that. Also, one thing we also had in mind was that our convention falls within the ambience of what the Supreme Court has adjudged on before, that such activities are internal matters of the party and they can be decided on by the party. What people who didn't want to serve the convention, our members, were saying is that they had a convention. This is what Wike's grabs is up. He had a congress in the South, some in the Southeast. And based on the results of those congresses, those people who were elected at those congresses are automatic delegates to the PDP convention. The party said no. You know why? Because the congress that he had was illegal. It was not approved by the National Working Committee. So what you had was Wike and his people guilty of impunity, insubordination, sabotage. And so we suspended them at first. Now they've been expelled. I mean, how do you say you are praying and working for your party to collapse and then you want to be part of the party in the convention? So that's what happened. I think Nigerians are seeing it. Everything is clear. We've had the convention. I know they will go to court. That is the nature of where we are now. When they go to court, the thing will end up in Supreme Court. Supreme Court will adjudge again that we assert what was said before, that such matters, this national convention is a matter of internal decision of the party. So the PBT has taken its decision, and that's where we are.
Okay, all right, sir. So now, Mr. Borawole, if we are to look at how things are progressing, a lot of people have been telling the PDP to sack Wike for a long time. Says it seems as if he's acting as a double agent. He's acting as a PDP member and also seems to be standing very close and tightly with the APC. So how do you take news of his expulsion?
Thank you very much. Before I talk about his expulsion, let me just shift about the court rulings. My brother talked about the internal affairs of parties. Yes, but the judgment that I read, I think the judgment by the judge from Abuja.
That's Pitalifo.
I think it was a Yoruba man. I don't know, somebody gave that judgment. He said, even if the matter is your internal affairs, it will also be decided whether you followed your own rules. Every party has a constitution, so you must follow your own rules. If your internal affairs, this is the way you conduct a matter, and you did not conduct it that way, then you have run out of your own constitution, your own laws. They also said that apart from your own laws as a party, now I'm not talking about PDP, I'm talking about any of the parties. Every party has their own laws guiding your membership, guiding how you get your candidates and things like that. So if you fail to comply with your own laws, then the court can rule that way. Then all parties are also guided by the Electoral Act. So if you also fall foul of the Electoral Act, which guides elections and things like that, the court can also rule. Then we have the Constitution, which is the ground norm. So if you also fall short of the Constitution, you can also So in other words, for political parties, you must be careful that you follow your own set rules that you have said. This is the way we want to do things. You must do things that way, something like that. So now, I don't know, the court will determine whether in holding this convention, whether the PDP followed its own laws, whether it followed the electoral law, whether it followed the position of the country, whether it did not breach any of those things. So if it is given a all clear, then it is a convention would. But otherwise, maybe, like you said, this matter may drag on to the Supreme Court. Talking about Wike's expulsion from the PDP, a lot of people have been asking for that it did appear as if PDP was not a disciplined party. It did appear as if Wike was above the law. It did appear as if there were certain things only hand of PDP that wasn't allowing them to discipline Wike. Because people saw Wike as play a dual role. He was a member of the party, not just a member of the party, he was a very important member of the party. But in the election of 2023, he stood against his party's candidates. He voted, in fact, not only voted, he organized 4 other governors of his party to stand against his party and the candidate of his party to vote for another party, head of another party. And that act alone contributed immeasurably to the APC winning that election, to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu winning that election, and for the PDP and its candidate, Atiku Abubakar, losing that election. Following from that, he was made minister, not just an ordinary minister, minister of the Federal Capital Territory. But when you're talking about A ministries or B ministries, I think FCT is A+++ ministry. In fact, he is a governor, a president of his own. So that's why you've seen in one of the vehicles I saw, he was flying flag. Even in Abuja, I think the president is the only one that flies flag, or governors when they come up. But he was flying flag here because it's just like the government. So the position was very important in an opposition government. Of course, we can say that happened before. Shibola, who was in AG, was Federal Attorney General and Minister for Justice in the Obasanjo government, which was PDP then. So until he was assassinated, he held that office. So we have seen a precedent. Now, that of Wike also followed in that precedent. But where Wike was different from Bola Ige was that when Bola Ige felt that his continued presence in the government of former President Olusegun Obasanjo became anachronistic, he was withdrawing from that government so that he could go back to his own party. In the case of Wike, he is not withdrawing from that government. He's staying within that government and he's fighting against his elements within his own party. It's like somebody is staying inside and piecing inside. That is how it looks like to some people. And of course, to some other people, it is Wike trying to get his pound of flesh. When you look at the way he was cheated, I want to use the word cheated because I participated in those primaries. I was a spokesperson for Governor Udom Emmanuel. So we campaigned together, we crisscrossed, and I knew the effort that Wike made. I was at the convention ground on that night when the governor of Sokoto pulled the rug. Yeah, pulled the rug from under the feet of Wike. It was very painful because Wike was posting up to it. So somebody like that felt very good. So it is that pain that he has not been able to live down. And then anyone who are supporting him, you can see that even the running mate of Atiku at the camp from PDP had gone to APC. And that's what a lot of people expected Wike to do. Just the camp. Just people say where you are. Let's know where you are. Okay, I'm no longer in PDP. But he's staying in PDP and he's becoming like a crooked stick in the fireplace that is not allowing the other fire sticks to do anything. It appears as if it's a deliberate effort to stay in and trouble the party and ensure that nothing is done. Now, if you were doing that when Atiku was in the party, you could have said, but Atiku has left the party. The person that cheated you to the presidential ticket has left the party. So who are you still fighting now? Okay, you are fighting the other people who were supporters of Atiku and things like that. So the matter became very complicated. And the matter even became worse when even some of his colleagues that they fought together against Atiku, like Makinde, when they broke ranks. Makinde was part of the G5 governors.
Now Makinde and Wiki are not saying eye to eye. Up to the point that Wiki even have to come out to say that Makinde and I are not friends. They are not associates. So the matter is really very complicated. So now that the PDP had summoned the courage to say that they are sacking Wiki, I'm sure, I hope they will know that it will have reverberations. Okay, you know something about reverberations. And you people will also have to see how you handle that. Because at the critical point in the life of PDP, everybody pulled back. Wiki was the one that stood for that party. Wiki was the financier of that party. Wiki was the one that spent all the money and put all the structures in place. So it became difficult for you to uproot such a person because he had tentacles everywhere.
We have uprooted him down.
And he became so confident that he was...
It's over now.
Okay.
You know, we are going to have repercussions. You have to weigh your options. Should we continue with this man as a double agent, or should we expel him? We feel we have done enough. We gave him a long rope to hang himself, and he hung himself. We waited till the National Convention, which is the most powerful, the highest body in the party to decide on issues. That's why we didn't expel him all this time. We're waiting for the proper time when it will be inconvertible. He knows it, and that is why he was worried and did everything to subvert our National Convention, knowing that on that day, if it happens, at that event where the party meets at its highest point, anything that they decided at that point stays. And that's why we waited for that. By the way, some point you made about the validity of the Congress. Have we contravened our own constitution, the way we do things, the national electoral law, the federal constitution? This is what we did before we went into the convention. You see, this is what Wiki and Co. were claiming, that we contravened our own constitution, electoral law, and so on and so forth. And we said, no, we didn't do that. I'll give you one example. The constitution of the party and the electoral law is clear on how you conduct your elections. It is your National Working Committee that approves the manner in which you conduct your regional congresses. One individual, no matter who it is, the national chairman of the party does not have the right to go to his own state and conduct a congress in his state and say that congress, whoever emerges from that congress, is a valid delegate to the convention, that his congress is valid. It is invalid. The National Committee is made up of 18 people, 18 members, from the national chairman elected all the way to the national woman leader, the deputy youth leader, all the way, 18 of them in that committee. When they decide on something, that is where you get all the paperwork you're going to use for congresses. We went and conducted an illegal congress, not approved by the National Committee. You know how he got the papers to conduct the congress? He's a boy on his own. The secretary, this rogue of a human being, on his own, took papers and sent papers to Wiki without the approval of the National Working Committee. Now Wiki conduct the election, Congress, he said it's valid, we should accept it. We say no. So we did not contravene. Contrary to what Wiki and Co are claiming, we never contravened the electoral law, the national constitution, or the constitution of our party. We did everything right. That's why we know that we have a valid reason, legitimately, to go to the convention. And I guarantee you, you see, after this, you know, look, people may go to court. It doesn't matter. What are you going to gain in the court? At the height of it, this will go to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has already ruled, if you did not do this, if you didn't do that, as I said, we didn't contravene. Supreme Court is going to find us clean and clear. We don't have a problem. And by the way, this convention, this issue we're in now, it's a matter of the heart and soul of democracy in Nigeria. If PDP doesn't have a convention, that means PDP doesn't have a party. Nobody should run the party. The people we elected yesterday were people who are going to run the party, the national chairman all the way through. Woman leader, youth leader, everybody, for the next 4 years. They are the ones to prepare us for the 2027 election. Not only presidential, all the way from council to local government to ward. Come on. If we don't have that, that means APC is the only party standing in Nigeria, because right now as we speak, let us face facts. This is not a joke anymore. The ADC is wondering. Labour doesn't know where they are. Therefore, PDP cannot be allowed to die. I kept saying it throughout the period. Now, we're going to have a convention, and we'll see. Because the judges too are only human. And they are Nigerians. And they are Democrats. And they too have to protect their turf as honest operators. Because right now, our judiciary has one of the worst images in the world, as one of the most corrupt judiciary in the world. It's on record. Okay? So therefore, all of us have to be careful at this point in time that you should not go and join the class of irresponsible leaders who talk anyhow. Do you know that we have leaders who are on tape saying, I will kill them. I will kill these people. I will kill our own leaders. Wiki is one of them. And we have elections. The results come out of the polling units. By the time they walk up to the collation center, the thing has changed in favor of the ruling party. I said it before in this program. You remember, I said, look, what is going on now? The effort of Mr. Tinubu to win every election by hook or crook, it started when he realized he had lost the support of the North. He had to do everything to win whatever in the South by hook or crook. It reminds us, it should remind all Nigerians of what happened in 1965. Jonathan mentioned it recently, and I followed up by saying this is exactly what happened when the party MPC, when they lost the support of the NCNC. You remember, the First Republic was a coalition between NCNC and MPC. By 64, 2 years after the election, by 62 actually, 2 years after the election, the coalition had broken up. The MPC was on its own because NCNC refused to even take part in the election in 63 population. So they had a problem. That's why they went to the southwest, to western region to meet with Akintola. And whether Akintola won election or not, they gave it to him. Until it got to a point where the people of the south of western Nigeria were revolting against Akintola. Tafawa Balewa sent federal troops to go and sustain Akintola. That was the beginning of the national crisis we had. And I'm telling you now, if we continue like this, and we have a reckless, irresponsible, loudmouth, a man who doesn't care what he says or what he does, to continue to influence this president, and the president himself, who somehow feels he has to capture every state of the federation, we are going to have a crisis. It's not going to be a crisis only with democracy. It's not going to be a crisis with PDP. PDP is now the bastion of democracy, standing between Nigeria and a one-party rule.
Okay,
and therefore, whether you're a judge, whether you are a school principal, whether you're a nurse, whether you are anybody, you realize what is going on. And let's see. Let us see if Nigerians will wait till this. Okay, judge, go and decide. What have we done? Is it a crime? Even if they say don't do it and we did it, have we committed a crime? After all, it's a what do you call the other one? We have disobeyed you. Okay, what have I done? We have elected our own people. Did we say, by the way, this election is not the same as when you have a primaries. A primaries of election, this was not, we didn't have primaries to elect people who will now go and face the Nigerian public and ask for their vote. You see the difference. Such people have to be screened differently, have to be evaluated differently. That is no longer an internal matter of the party. You understand me? Because when you have such primaries, that's what happened in Zamfara and a few places when they didn't have primaries. And then they put officers there and just chose them. The court will nullify that easily. The court cannot nullify what we have done because we have not done election to elect people who will go and face the Nigerian public for their votes. We have elected people to run our family affair. That is why we know that we have not gone against the law in any way.
Okay, all right. Let me ask Mr. Alvaraboli this question. So with the expulsion of Nistan Wiki, Aidele Fayoshe, Samuel Anyao, with these people and also for the others that I have not mentioned, do you think it is a loss to them or ultimately to PP, their expulsion? Who really would feel the heat of the expulsion? Is it the PDP or these people that have been expelled?
All the sides to the expulsion will build the heat. You see, for the people who have been expelled, they will be back to the drawing table now, drawing board. What is the implication? Even if they tell you that it doesn't relate to them, believe you me, it makes something to them. It's on record now that they were expelled from their party and they won't keep quiet about it. They will do something about it. Whether they're going to go to court, they're going to do this. So it means that they are affected. Even if they tell us they're not, they are affected. And again, the party that has expelled them, like Ogani has said, the party that has expelled them, they are prepared for the firework. You know that something will happen, that the people you have expelled will not just take it lightly and go home and sit down. They will fire back. So we're going to have a situation where it's going to be like the case of a bird that passes on the rope. You see, the rope will be swinging, the bird will also be swinging. So for the two of them now, there won't be much peace. Everyone will be trying to undo or outdo the other. It is something that the people have avoided. You see, this problem could have been avoided. The former governor of Delta State, Okowa, said so when he was campaigning from the PDP to APC. Maybe he has some other reasons, but the reason he gave was that he later realized that his people did not want power to remain in the north after 8 years of former President Muhammadu Buhari. That the Southerners wanted power to return to the south. If the PDP had not thrown its primaries open for everyone.
You mean 2023?
If Atiku hadn't gotten the ticket, if the their candidate had come from the south, just like the ABC candidate came from the south, they would have avoided these problems.
Okay, all right, Mr. Valawale. Sorry to disrupt the flow of your thought. Let us quickly go on the break. And when we come back, we are still discussing the PDP convention and lots of matters that you could guess is arising from it. Just stay with us. Good to have you back. Just joining us. This is FIRECRACKERS, and we are still talking about the PDP convention. If you're just joining us, we've missed a lot, but you can with us on our social media channels. We are streaming across all our social media channels, and clips of these will still be uploaded there. So just keep track of So anyway, Dr. Bola, as you were saying about who is really the loser, is it the party that's expelled or the ones that were expelled?
Yeah, both are losers. You see, because they will all be affected. The people that have been expelled will be affected because now they have been expelled.
That is not a commendation. A party that you were founding father, a party that you have done so much for, a party that has also done so much for you. Wike was two-term governor. Before then, he was chairman local government, head other offices, and under the same party, you became a governor twice, and then you also ran as presidential candidate, and became very good second that same party. Ayodele Fayoshi, you were governor under this party twice, and that party is expelling you. So it is not a commendation, and the party is expelling you for anti-party activities. It's very loaded that you can turn against, like biting the fingers that fed you. It is the party that you climb up on this ladder to get to the top, and you are trying to destroy the party. Each time I see something like that, I remember the judgment of the judge or the justice that I tried to work on. Will make that, I've done this, I've done that. The judge said, yes, you have done this, you have done that, but you cannot build a house and turn around to pull it down. So I don't agree with what Justice Obimo said about Awolowo. I'm just quoting that. I'm not just quoting it because I like that statement. Though I did not say the statement applied to Awolowo. Awolowo was not trying to pull down what he built, but I like that phrase. So you cannot climb the ladder of PDP to that level, high level, and then now you are the one that the same party is expelling for anti-party activities. It speaks volumes. So, and for the party also, you also have to look like these are people who have contributed a lot to the party. The party cannot deny that Wike contributed a lot to the party. People cannot deny that some of these people, even Fayoshi, even the secretary, those people, before you can get to those levels, you must have contributed to the party. You have given the party a name. You have given the party recognition. So now at that level, I know that the party must have struggled with that decision because it took them a long time to arrive at that. So people were even saying that why haven't they taken that decision before? I know that they must have considered the fact that these are people that have contributed a lot to the party, and they are people that still command some respect, some followership. Whether we like it or not, these are people that still control followership in the party. Wike still has his followers in the party, particularly with the position he occupies. As a politician, once you are in a position to dispense favors, you have people who follow you. He is still in a position where he is dispensing favors. The only people, some of the people that their relevance may have whittled down, people like Ayo Fayoshi, who is no longer holding any office, and who may not have the financial muscle that he used to have as a sitting governor. But for Wike, FCT minister, right? Who is still controlling the structure in Rivers State. And that was the reason why we have this Fubara-Wike crisis, which for intents and purposes have not been resolved in favor of Wike. Even though Fubara is back as governor, is a limping Fubara that is governor, and he now knows that wearing power lines. So for someone like that, we see as some relevance as far as our politics is concerned. Relevance is who can dispense largesse. So this is somebody who can still dispense largesse. So it will affect the party one way or another. But like Oga here have said that the PDP is brazen up. It's like you are between the rock and the hard place, and you have to make a choice. And they have made their choice. And let's see how they will write this stuff.
Thank you, Dr. Pierce. You have something to say.
The issue is this. Bola is right. There's no way that the PDP will not feel the impact. It's a question of magnitude. In my opinion, what we have lost is probably 10%. What the people who have expelled have lost is 90%. No, listen to this. When Wike talks about funding the party, number one, that's in the past. We have not seen his funding in the last 4 years, 3 years, so therefore, it's no longer relevant. When he says he's funding the party, is it his inheritance or the money made as a lawyer that he's using to fund the party? Or is it not River State money that is thrown out? Even then, when he was going here throwing money, I was saying to myself, what kind of country is this? Where is he getting this money? River State money. So let him not talk about largesse. It's totally irrelevant. These are things we must to cleanse in our system. That's number one. Number two, most important, the party PDP is standing strong, stronger than when Wike was there and FIRECRACKERS was there sabotaging us. Now we have expelled them, we've cleaned our house. We now know that the few people remaining are trusted. We are ready to move forward. In the meantime, FIRECRACKERS doesn't have a political party anymore. Wike doesn't have a political party anymore. For a politician, you know what that means? They're lost, okay? They are lost in the wilderness of politics. Let me tell you, Wike does not control River State. Fubara now deals directly with President Tinubu. So it's Tinubu and Fubara who control River State, not Wike. Wike has lost in everywhere, and he knows it. By the way, all his shenanigans in the Federal Capital Territory have been exposed gradually. He's acting, what did these guys say, Dr. Abati says, acting like a bouncer for APC. To me, what has happened, this is why they were fighting tooth and nail, all sorts of propaganda. We must not have this convention. They know that if we have this convention and they're expelled, they're finished. What PDP will lose, let me tell you, before this, yesterday, I went to the convention with a prayer that we should have the courage to expel these people, because our members everywhere in this country, abroad, that's the same thing they were saying. Everywhere we go, they say, we expel this man. We say, what about the implication? They say, expel him first. After that, we'll deal with whatever. Wike is finished. FIRECRACKERS does not exist politically. Who? You know, Ayahu was a liability. When he left his job as secretary and went to Imo State, if you remember, he went to Imo State and devastated PDP in Imo State. All our members, state chairman, state secretary, all of them were leaving, going to APC because of now that we've expelled him, you will see a lot of people coming back to the party because these people have been expelled. People were sitting on the fence before. They say, we will know whether you are a serious party, how you deal with these guys. So expelling them is good riddance to bad rubbish. We are ready to move forward. Whatever little loss we are going to experience, we are ready for it. The major loss is not for the party. The party is millions of people against how many of them? What largesse? What is there? Does any one individual have more money than the masses? No. That is why when you go to church, the little tithes they are giving is what makes the church. The pastor himself cannot boast of that kind of money. The people's money. And Wike very soon will not have access to FCT money as it's going now. You know that is not in the federation account. You know that, Abi? It's getting special that we are going to campaign against that. It's illegal. President Tinubu must remove that. If he doesn't, that's part of the reason why Tinubu himself is going to be removed in 2027. All the people that is going around it. By the way, these shenanigans of Wike and co, or their party, is what is propelling people like Trump to be looking at us that we are going into a failed state situation where our security is zero, where our economy is in shambles, where our leaders have no respect for law and order, where our judicial system is always giving for funny judgments. I mean, the whole country is going under in this APC administration.
All right.
Buhari messed up. He nearly threw us under the bus. This man now is pushing us under the bus more and more. This Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This administration is done.
I wish we could go on and on and on because I still have more questions to ask, but sadly we've run out of time. Sincere apologies. This has really been very interesting. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your presence here today. That's really been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
And